and the F-150 Lightning will be able to power your home as Tesla, the wall battery thing from Tesla. So try that with your Tesla truck. They do have a charger out that if you buy from Ford, it will, as I said, power your house if the power goes out, but not like what most home batteries do where they will power your house when electricity is expensive. Well, I'm sure you've heard the term, but probably not in this way, but called black mass. Not that black mass, but this is...
Yeah, that's definitely not the kind of black mass I would think about or attend.
Google faked an AI demo.
But the fact that they're like sort of misrepresenting what's going on is a little bit is bad.
Hello, how the tech are you? I am historian Matt, and we're going to jump into some tech stories today. I have one other host, but he'll introduce himself later. So my first story it's not exactly a follow-up to last week, but it's kind of related to last week. This is on the F-150 Lightning, and they've got some new tech coming out, and the F-150 Lightning will be able to power your home as just very similar to how like a Tesla, the wall battery thing from Tesla, or there's a lot of other ones that do that whole home battery. But this is actually, you'll be able to plug in the F-150 Lightning, just leave it plugged in, and it'll be able to charge when the power is cheap, electricity is cheap, and it will power your house when electricity is expensive. So Ford and Residio, I think that's how you pronounce their name, are partnering with this EV-home power. And yeah, so you just plug it in. They have Ford already has a home backup option that uses like an 80 amp Ford Charge Station Pro. That's what you have to use, and you just leave that plugged in. But that only powers your house if the power completely cuts off. This one they haven't actually announced what it's called yet, except I think just EV home power. But it will actually allow you to power the house when you need to. So when setting up to, as I said, to power the house when electricity is more expensive. Unfortunately, I linked to the article. It was an interesting article on how it's all going to work, but they did not say when this is actually going to come out. This partnership, I think, just started, and they're working on it, but they haven't done it yet. So try that with your Tesla truck. What do you think, Dave?
I, for some reason, thought this was already available from some different EVs. Maybe I'm just incorrect, and I've been hearing news that it was coming. I think you've been hearing news that it's coming because they've been saying this for quite a while. It hasn't happened. Plus, you have this, like Ford definitely was saying the Lightning is going to do this, but they haven't done it yet. So they do have a charger out that if you buy from Ford, it will, as I said, power your house if the power goes out, but not like what most home batteries do where they will power your house when electricity is expensive. So yeah, that's a new thing coming out. As far as I know, like Tesla does, like in their Cybertruck or any of their cars, none of them or their chargers will do that at all. But then again, they have the power wall, so they don't want you to buy that, their house battery. Well, I could see having both being good.
This is kind of for emergencies. So there's good things and bad things about it. Like if you already have a Lightning, then getting a little extra hardware to have it power your house is great. The problem is, from what I can see and from what others have said, is like you don't really want to like charge and discharge your car battery that much. I mean, it's an EV and it's supposed to do that, but you're like reducing the life of your battery in your car, and that's really expensive. The house batteries that they put in now from different companies, including Tesla and other places, they're not the same chemistry, and they're better for, well, part of it is they can use a chemistry that's heavier, right? Like it doesn't have to be as dense, and it can also handle more charges and discharges, and it's cheaper to replace, cheaper to set up and cheaper to replace, and can take up more space. And you don't care because it's a house, it's not on your car. So there's those things to think about.
Yeah. I think having both would be ideal, right? Because in an emergency, if your power goes out for a couple days, your wall runs out, and then you're like, well, I'd still like to run my heater. And so now your car starts discharging. But then
That's
like
true.
Depending on the type of emergency, maybe it would be better to have your car fully charged so you can get out of Dodge if you need to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also the idea of like, if you have solar panels, right? You might want to charge everything during the day, including your truck. But like, if your power's just been out for multiple days, then you may need to use your truck as extra battery for that one emergency. But that's only going to happen a few times, right? But you'll still be able to charge your truck when the sun comes back out to drive it anywhere.
I mean, overall, this seems good. I think your concern about the life of the EV battery is a pretty good one. And I think like a hybrid system probably going to be the best. But then you're buying yet another battery to put on your wall. You know, in most places, most of the time, a power outage is a temporary thing. It is not, there's in fact not a lot of places where there are long-term power outages, especially in the places where people could, for example, afford an F-150 Lightning.
Yeah, that's true. My parents lose power a lot but not like for that long, but for hours, right?
Right.
And they could afford an F-150 Lightning if they really wanted to, but they have solar panels and they don't have a battery yet, but that might come if they have too much trouble, because they actually are set up so that even though they have solar panels, if the power goes out, they lose their connection to the power grid. They have no power. The solar panels do not power the house, even if the sun's out.
Huh.
They're trying that for now. The problem is buying a battery, one of those wall batteries, is really expensive. It adds a lot of expense to a whole solar system. So we're trying without for now and see if they can get away with it. But if they lose power a lot, they'll probably invest in a battery.
We'll see. Plus battery technology is, it's slow, but it's always evolving. So there may be a way in which there are different kinds of batteries where if you do plan on using your vehicle like this, you get a slightly different type of battery, maybe where you for example, you might sacrifice a small amount of range, but then your battery doesn't wear out so quickly. Something like that. Right. Something like that. I was also I also read something about, and I kind of like this idea that in the future, changing the battery in your car would be simple, not this long, arduous process. But that's down the road, and that's sort of theoretical.
Yeah, I don't know. Like people always complain about like, oh, your battery's going to die and you're going to have to change your battery and it's cost thousands of dollars. And it does happen occasionally. But there's the other part of that. What a lot of people don't know is batteries now, like car batteries, actually batteries from just about anything, the lithium battery is highly recyclable now. And there's a lot of stuff going into it. And I don't know, well, I'm sure you've heard the term, but probably not in this way, but called black mass. Not that black mass, but this is what it is basically they take these big batteries, they remove some of the outer casing and stuff, but then after that, they basically just grind it up. And what's left is just this black, like looks like black dirt, and they call it black mass. And that now is because it's so full of minerals and stuff that we really need, it is quite valuable. So the process, the cost of replacing batteries may go down just because the value in that battery that they're taking from you is still there. There's a lot of the value is still there for the recycling.
Yeah, that's definitely not the kind of black mass I would think about or attend. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on this. In an emergency, having maybe for me or you for now, it wouldn't matter that much. But if somebody, even just something not like a dialysis machine or whatever, but maybe if somebody can't sleep without a CPAP machine, or even just not having your food in your fridge go bad if the power's out for an extended amount of time, you don't have to keep your fridge cold. You don't have to run it the whole time, so you could you could sort of manage that if you think the power is going to be out for a couple days, so that your stuff in your fridge doesn't go bad. This is a good idea.
I'd have to say though, like, it's nice to have. Don't go out and buy an F-150 Lightning for this one thing, right? It's cheaper to buy a house battery than to buy a whole truck. So
right, yeah, you can even then. You could putter around town in a 15-year-old like used Volkswagen Golf or something and get the wall battery and yeah, you'd be using gasoline, sure, but it would be cheaper. So
right.
Well, cool. What do you got next?
Okay, for my next topic, this was kind of a big deal this past week, and we only now have a chance to talk about it, but Google faked an AI demo. I don't know if you've heard about this, but so Google announced Gemini, which is their new powerful suite of AI models. and it's going to replace a bunch of stuff. It's going to go in, it's going to be the model behind Bard, which runs a lot of stuff. It's like ChatGPT and runs a lot of stuff you can do on Google. But when they released and announced Gemini, they released a YouTube video with showing it some of its capabilities. And this video, I have a link to it. It's on YouTube. I have multiple links to this topic, but I have it marked as the demo. But it's a really impressive video of a human, just like, you hear the human talking. You can't see his face or anything. You supposedly see his hands in this video, but he's just talking with Gemini and going back and forth. And like, part of it is like, he has a little video. It's like a video of his desk, and he's like pulling out papers and drawing stuff, and the Gemini is guessing what he's drawing and stuff like that. It's really cool, and it's just an amazing video. The problem is pretty fake. Like, it's not completely fake, but Google, like, they said they heavily edited it, and like, from what I can tell, it's very edited. It sounds like the guy is actually talking to Gemini, like through voice interaction, but in reality, they found out that they were typing in the prompts. The Gemini was not actually seeing the video that was showing in this in the demo, but actually getting still frames from the video and then interacting with that. So it is actually kind of doing everything that it says it's doing, but not in real time. There's also like they've edited out like gaps between when he says something and Gemini responds. And in a few cases, they've even they changed the prompt. So if you'd say something in the video that's not exactly what was going to Gemini before to get the really good response. So it was kind of surprising. What do you think, Dave? That was, I don't know if you saw this video or not, but it's kind of a bad thing Google did.
Yeah, it reminds me of, how like you would watch a commercial for fast food, and then you would get to the fast food restaurant and you'd be like, that's not the thing I saw in the commercial.
Yeah, there's like this giant, beautiful hamburger, and you get there in the commercial, and you get there, and it's just like this flat little thing. It's got it looks like they made it out of a flip flop. Yeah,
it's a very sad hamburger. The editing, the editing part is fine. I mean, you expect professional videos to be edited, but the fact that they're like sort of misrepresenting what's going on is a little bit is bad, right? Because they could have done exactly what they did, but then disclosed, hey, these prompts that we're speaking are actually being typed in, and sometimes we did have to change the prompt to get the desired result.
I think they said that somebody found this information like buried deep in some of the, I don't know if it was the notes on the video or somewhere else. There's somewhere that they actually mentioned that they didn't, the voice wasn't exactly what was put in as prompts. They changed it to text. But I don't think it said that it was actually different text from the voice. So I don't know how they found that out later. And it's not all prompts, but definitely some of them were altered to get a better response.
They could have even put in the video, like at the beginning, that, hey, this is an example of what's going on. We have had to edit some of the prompts, but here's the capabilities of our new system. Like, that would have been no problem. People wouldn't have been like, oh, well, this is stupid because you edited the video and had to change the prompts. Then they would have just been honest, and they would have been showing off their AI and its capabilities. Because, I mean, I use AI sometimes to generate, templates for some of the artwork in our swag shop. And I have to try a couple times to get what I want. And so I don't think that's not going to be, I don't think that somebody, just because they're making the video for Google, isn't going to have to do the same thing. So they could have got around all this by just at the very beginning of the video said, here's a demonstration of the, the capabilities of this. And, some of the prompts had to be changed from what we were saying in the video, but they were, the gist is still there. And if you want a list of the prompts that we actually used, it's in the notes. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, like say in the beginning, this is aspirational. This is what we want to get to. We had to make some alterations along the way, but eventually we want it to work like this.
And even showing people what alterations they made, so that when you go to use AI, you're like, oh, well, I'm the people at Google are just as big an AI dummy as I am.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if they had shown what it actually did, and like you having to type stuff in and show it like photos or something from your desk. Like, that's still pretty amazing that it can actually do some of this stuff. Even if some of the prompts had to be altered or you have to do it multiple times to get exactly the right answer. But instead, they wanted to make a really slick video that isn't realistic.
They could have even kind of done like, you know how TV shows have outtakes? They could have done the outtakes, which is them having to change the prompts and all that in another video. It would have been cute, right? It would have been fun.
Right, yeah.
It would have been fun and kind of self-deprecating and very un-Silicon Valley-like.
Yeah.
Although Google isn't out there trying to raise money from like VCs, so they don't really have to pump up what they're doing in any sort of meaningful way. And it would have like, people would have liked it a lot. The outtake video probably would have got more views than the main video, and then they would have got the marketing they wanted from the thing that they're doing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Google doesn't have to fight for VC money because they're a big company, but they still are in the AI industry, right? And they're fighting for eyeballs, so that's probably why they made this, very slick video. But they didn't need to do this. I think this is damaging to their brand, but they've been doing that a lot recently.
Yeah, well, like I said, it just would have been easy to disclaim at the beginning, run this exact same video, and then either explain in a document somewhere what they did have to change, or put up another video showing them changing things to it would have been like the making of. They wouldn't have even had to be like, this is how this was messed up, right? They could be like the making of, the behind the scenes, like it's like a movie, or like, the DVD extras back when people used to use DVDs. They could have done it in like another way that would have been full disclosure and also like artistic, cool, and in a format that people understand. I would say they should hire me, but I don't want to work for any of these companies.
Doing fine working on your own.
Close enough. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We are getting there.
Eplex.store.
Eplex.store, everybody. You can buy the toast cap that Matt's wearing.
Thank you, everyone, for checking out the How the Tech Are You weekly tech news show. If you want to check out our other shows, you can do that on echoplexmedia.com. And if you want to support us, you can do that on eplex.store or patreon.com/echoplex. Don't remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below telling us what you like, what you didn't like. We want to hear what you think. Have a great tech and week.